Today we're installing a PPE differential cover on our 2011 Chevrolet Duramax. This is a PPE part number 138051000. This diff cover originally came in a raw casting. Our customer had this powder coated black, and we're going to install it today for him. So we just wanted to show, the most important thing we wanted to show is we're going to show you exactly what comes out of this differential when we pull the plug here. So what we've got is we've got a bucket on here with different increments on it that's going to show us exactly what comes out of this differential. That way when we put the cover back on, we refill the fluid to the check mark on it, we'll know exactly how much we increased our capacity over stock. So we'll begin our installation with tools that you're going to need: 13 metric socket, ratchet, or 3/8 drive ratchet, and that's really just going to be about it. On this, we're going to do a little bit of fabricating some of our brackets to make them hook back onto the to the PPE cover, but that's not going to be any big deal. So we'll go ahead and get started by draining this differential. On the bottom of the American axle differentials, on Chevrolet ones for sure, they have a 3/8 drive plug on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and remove that and let this be draining. We got our just about got our diff completely drained. Now we're going to go ahead and start removing some of the stock bolts from the cover. They're 13 metrics. We're going to start at the bottom. All right, now we got all of our cover bolts loosened up. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna go in here and just kind of loosen up the cover and let what left of the fluid drain out of it. If there is any left, doesn't look like there is, so we'll go ahead and remove the bolts, pull the cover down. Simply pry the cover off. A little bit of metal there on the stock magnet, but nothing to be alarmed about. We got a little bit of fluid left inside the diff now. What we're going to do is we're going to start cleaning the outside of this up and getting the old gasket off and get ready to put the new PPE cover on. Now we're just going to clean up the old gasket and get it off of the differential surface. All right, you can see the fluid that come out of our rear end on our 2011 truck. You know, conservatively we'll say it's right up to about 3 quarts, honestly. It should have had about 3.7 in it, but it's about 3 quarts. You know, there's still some down in the bottom of it, you know, that we got cleaned out, and, you know, maybe a little residual on the thing. So maybe, you know, just to be on the saving side, we'll say it had 3.5 quarts in it. So we're going to go ahead and go back with our PPE now. On our PPE, we're going to do a little bit of fabricating to get all of our brackets up, but the first thing that we do is just, we're going to line our gasket up on our cover like this, and we're just going to get a couple of bolts in here to get us started, and then we'll mock up our brackets. Now, to get some of our other brackets back onto here, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do some trimming of the brackets to make these fit back, but that's what we're going to do now. We're going to bring a plasma cutter over. We're going to make a cut on this bracket here to where it'll go in and fit right on there. So we're going to make a cut right there to go to one. Then we're going to make a cut on this bracket here. We're going to shave a little bit off it to where it'll go into a port. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make those cuts with a plasma cutter real quick, and then go ahead and finish installing the rest of our bolts. Okay, now we've got all of our bolts in. We got our brackets fabricated. We had to cut the brake line bracket to where just one held it. We used our PPE hardware that was included. Another bracket over here we had to fab too. Now we're going to tighten up the cover, and you're going to tighten it down to between 12 and 16 foot-pounds at a crisscross pattern. So we're going to go to 15 foot-pounds and try to go at opposite corners. All right, now that our torques are done, we're going to remove our drain plug and begin filling. We got our cover torqued down to the 15 foot-pounds. We're gonna go ahead and start filling. Now, on this Chevrolet, this calls for 75/90 full synthetic gear lubricant with no friction modifier or limited slip additive, however you want to call it. Remember, our capacity was 3.7, or stock cover took 3.7 quarts. We found for ours to have 3, maybe 3.5 in it. PPE's cover claims that they'll add another 1.5 quart to that, so we should be looking at being able to get 5.5 quarts out of this into this cover before she's ready. So we're going to start filling with a 75/90. Remember, this one doesn't take the for this axle, and make sure you check your manufacturer's recommendations for this. But ours takes 75/90 full synthetic, so we're going to start filling now with our first quart. Give me another quart there, bud.
Just want to put a lid back on this one?
Yeah. Well, folks, PPE lived up to their claim. That was exactly right at about 5.5 quarts that we put in here. So we got an extra 1.5 quart, right at it, capacity. So I'm well pleased with that. We're gonna go ahead and put our drain plug in here and call it a wrap. So if you have a question about this installation or any of our other installations that we've done, or if you just got a question about anything, give us a call. We'll be glad to help you. Thank you.